Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, today we're tackling one of those gadgets you see everywhere, the plug-in pest repeller. Specifically, we're looking at the PestLab USO model. Is it, a genius invention for keeping your home pest-free without chemicals, or is it just, well, high-tech hype? That's our mission today. So let's lay out what this thing claims. The USO is for ultrasonic sound output, right? But their big pitch is that it's a combo. They say it uses both ultrasonic sound and electromagnetic pulses. Promises huge coverage, up to 800 square feet. And the marketing is really bold. We found stuff like all mice and rats gone in a week. Wow. And of course, that is totally safe for kids and pets.
Okay, right. Let's unpack the science here a bit. The basic idea, the ultrasonic part, is about high-frequency sound. We're talking sounds usually above 20 kilohertz, frequencies that humans can't hear but that are supposed to really bother pests, drive them away, mess with their, communication or finding their way around. That's the theory anyway. But here's the catch. Pests seem to get used to it, pretty quickly actually. The sound might annoy them at first, sure, but the studies we looked at show, well, very limited effects, or effects that just don't last. For example, I saw one specific study on ticks using similar tech. The repellency rate was less than 20%. It suggests they either adapt or maybe just tune it out after a while.
Okay. So adaptation is a big hurdle for the sound part.
Yeah.
But what about that other bit they advertise, the plus electromagnetic waves? Is that supposed to be the secret sauce? Maybe it works even if the sound doesn't, or is it just more marketing language? Because that's what makes it seem different from the simpler ultrasonic-only ones.
That is a really good question. And when you look at the actual science behind electromagnetic fields and pests, well, it gets pretty shaky. The claim is that these low-frequency pulses disrupt their nervous systems, but, the research just doesn't back that up for devices like this. To actually affect a pest's biology with magnetism, you'd need a field strength way stronger than what a little plug-in device could safely, or even possibly, generate in a home. So, yeah, it seems like the EM part is mostly for the marketing story, not so much for repelling pests effectively.
And then there's that massive coverage claim, 800 square feet. That
Yeah.
seems optimistic, especially when you think about how sound actually travels or doesn't travel.
Mhm.
High-frequency sound waves, like the ultrasonic ones, they get blocked really easily, right? By furniture, by walls, even curtains. It's called acoustic shadowing. So the signal gets weakened or just stops.
Exactly. That's a huge practical problem. The physics just don't line up with the promise a lot of the time, and that directly ties into why these things often fail as a sole solution. They can't do the essential stuff pest control pros always talk about, like a plug-in gadget isn't going to seal up the cracks where mice are getting in. It won't clean up spilled food that attracts roaches or fix leaky pipes providing water. It ignores the whole environment, basically.
Yeah, which brings us to what people are actually saying about it. The user feedback we saw, it's really all over the place, very mixed. Some people did claim they saw fewer pests after a while, maybe. But then a lot of others said, basically nothing happened. We even saw comments like, kind of depressing, I'm still seeing roaches walk right past the device. That doesn't inspire confidence.
Right, and that ties into another point, the difference between the marketing promises and the actual customer experience, especially with support. They offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, which sounds good on paper, but we found at least one report where someone waited, 2 whole weeks just to get a response from customer service. And then getting the refund itself wasn't straightforward at all. So, that guarantee, it's only as solid as the company's ability or willingness to actually honor it easily. That feels like a bit of a red flag.
So let's boil this down. What does this mean for you, the listener, if you're looking at this PestLab Repeller or something similar? I think the main takeaway is pretty clear. This is not some magic bullet. It's not a guaranteed fix on its own, especially if you've got a serious issue like rodents already nesting in walls or, a big cockroach problem. It's probably not going to solve that by itself.
Yeah, its potential use seems pretty limited. Maybe it could be one small part of a bigger strategy, perhaps for a very light infestation, or if you're absolutely determined to avoid chemicals. But even then, you have to use it alongside the tried and true methods, things like traps, baits, sealing entry points, keeping things clean, maybe even professional help. Think of it as possibly a minor supplement, definitely not a replacement for the real work. The science just isn't there for it to be a standalone solution.
Which leads us to our final thought for you to chew on. When the hype around a product seems way bigger than the solid science backing it up, and especially if getting help or your money back seems like a hassle, how much energy should you really spend trying to figure out if the fancy tech works versus just watching closely to see if you're actually getting results? Something to think about. Keep questioning what you plug in. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.